Good afternoon, this is LSJ News and it's 4 o'clock.
I'm Natasha Turney.
And I'm Stuart Cullington.
And these are your top stories of today.
A Lincolnshire man has been caught selling thousands of fake DVDs. We find out if piracy is killing the film industry.
It's the weapon that changed the course of history. A monument to the tank first built here in Lincoln.
And they're no longer singing from the same hymn sheet. Plans to cut back on church choirs. We're at the cathedral.
But first, Lincolnshire Trading Standards are cracking down on counterfeit DVDs, raiding homes and confiscating discs. In the latest raid, they seized over 2,000 illegal DVDs. Hannah O'Brien reports.
At first glance, they look completely normal. But these DVDs seized by Lincolnshire Trading Standards are in fact knockoffs from China. The raid in which they were seized was part of a wider operation aiming to tackle counterfeit goods being sold in the county.
A message to anybody that's selling counterfeit DVDs, you're taking money away from the industry and ripping off the public who are paying good money for paying and believing they're paying for the genuine thing. Trading standards and other authorities are always looking for those that are selling counterfeit items, whether that be over eBay, social media, markets or car boot sales. We are looking, and if we find people that are selling counterfeit goods, we will take action and you could end up being prosecuted and face prison.
These shots, taken at the Branston home of 26-year-old Andrew Hughes, show the scale of the operation. Hughes made over £100,000 profit in the last year, but was forced to pay it all back along with legal costs. He was also given an 18-month suspended sentence. Lincolnshire Trading Standards are urging members of the public to come forward if they suspect they have purchased a dodgy DVD.
Anybody that suspects that they've bought a counterfeit DVD, contact your local Trading Standards Authority, report it, keep hold of the item so that the Trading Standards Officer can have a look at it, and keep all the information, where you bought it from, sort of dates, times, how much you paid for it. So give your local Trading Standards a call, tell them, they'll investigate it, and then they can follow up with the matter.
For more information and to find out how you can get in touch with Lincolnshire Trading Standards, check out our website at www.lsjnews.co.uk. This is Hannah O'Brien reporting for LSJ News, Lincoln.
Earlier, I spoke to Professor Brian Winston, ex-governor for the British Film Institute, about his opinions on the matter. Thank you for joining us today, Brian. Now, how are pirate DVDs actually affecting the industry?
Well, I think there's a great deal of copying going on which is illegal, and that obviously reduces the revenue that companies get. But the thing to remember is that every pound they lose, they make 100. So the screams of pain are somewhat exaggerated.
And do we actually care about piracy?
No, I don't think that most people do care about it because they see the companies as the villains. They're the sheriff of Nottingham. And I think people feel, well, I might as well be Robin Hood, because the artists aren't getting the money anyway, are they? It's all going to these suits.
And how can the industry protect against this?
Well, not very easily, obviously, but it tries. I mean, it persecutes people to prosecute, I should say, or persecute people to the full strength of the law. It tries to put on electronic guards, but as soon as you do that, some smart young lad's going to come up, or lass, is going to come up and give you a £20 app that will allow you to rip it off anyway. So I don't think they can do very much in the long term. The fact of the matter is, what's really surprising is that, they'll take $115 billion worldwide through the box office.
Thank you, Brian.
100 years ago, engineers gathered in Lincoln to work on a weapon that would change history. The tank was designed and built in Lincoln and was first used in World War I. Now, a memorial will be built later this year to commemorate the invention. Sean Redmond reports.
These may look like ordinary shops, but they hold a hidden history to them. These are the sites where the first tanks were built 100 years ago. Now the Lincoln Tank Memorial Group is hoping to commemorate this achievement with a new monument in the heart of Lincoln.
But what we're trying to show the world is that Lincoln is the birthplace of the tank, and without the engineering skills of the city, Tritton, Wilson and Rigby, it wouldn't have happened.
The sculpture will be a tribute to the hundreds of workers who helped build the tanks during World War I. The purpose of the memorial is to educate people from all over the county and beyond about Lincoln's great engineering feat.
If you talk to locals, even locals aren't aware that the first tank was built in Lincoln. And I don't think we should be ashamed of our history. As I say, I think we should celebrate it.
To get an idea of how important the tank was to the war effort, I took a visit to a local museum. So at the Museum of Lincolnshire Life, we're lucky enough to have a real-life trench here, which was used with the Allies during World War I. And in 1915, trench warfare was at a standstill, which meant that both sides couldn't end the war and beat the other. So the Allies really needed something to end the war quickly and save millions of lives, and that solution was the tank. The memorial will hopefully be finished by the end of the year to coincide with the 100th anniversary of the start of the First World War.
We're hoping at least, we're looking at September, but we might even be looking at November, even the end of it. Time scale to put this thing on the roundabout, it could be a bit longer than we need, but it will happen. We're moving up with the finances now. We're still fundraising, and we're still getting pennies in from all over the place.
Sean Redmond, LSJ News.
And now, it's been reported that cathedral choirs around the county are under threat due to increasing financial pressure. It is estimated to cost around £250,000 a year to run a choir, on top of frequent restoration work and general maintenance. However, despite some cathedrals' struggle, Lincoln has a healthy and frequent choir that is here to stay.
The church at large choirs might be under threat, but here at Lincoln our choir's in good hands. People give money for the worship and liturgy of the cathedral, which involves music, and once that money's given, it's earmarked for that purpose. It's a hidden ingredient. What we've got here, we've got a theatre. You've got the magnificent stage that you're looking at behind me. We've got costumes and we've got our music, and the music is an integral part. So Lincoln Cathedral's choir is vibrant and here to stay, please God.
A 46-year-old woman has been arrested after a man was stabbed in the leg today. The man was taken to Lincoln County Hospital, where his condition isn't believed to be life-threatening. The woman was arrested while driving a car towards Grimsby.
The death of a 17-year-old girl has prompted the Lincolnshire MP Stephen Phillips to say that young drivers should face restrictions after they pass their test.
And a car crash on the A15 towards Scampton is still causing delays. The road is closed in both directions and is expected to take at least another half an hour to clear.
Still to come.
We're in Sleaford to find out, why did the toad cross the road?
And we take a look at Lincoln 3D Technology Hub that could potentially change the face of the manufacturing industry in Lincolnshire.
Well, they say the course of true love never runs smooth, but it's even harder if you're a toad. They risk being killed as they cross busy roads to find water and a mate. Now, a woman in Sleaford has set up a safe haven for the love-struck toads. James Ewington reports.
Spring is welcomed here in Lincolnshire, with blue skies and singing birds. It's also a time for mating, where many of our county's wildlife pair up to breed after a long winter's slumber. I spoke to Fiona Cousland, a Sleaford woman who's been campaigning as part of Toads on Road to set up a road crossing for toads, so they can get to the ponds where they mate and produce spawn safely.
Okay, well this time of year, once the temperature gets above maybe 5 or 6 degrees, the toads start coming out of hibernation, and they're sort of driven by their hormones basically. They've got to, find a male, get to their ancestral breeding grounds, mate, spawn, and then, carry on their sort of daily life.
But the problem is, to get to the ponds and areas where they breed, toads must often cross increasingly busy roads. Mating toads travel in pairs, so if they are involved in an accident, both will be lost. So how exactly does Fiona prevent this from happening?
I just basically pick them up, and because it's quite a small narrow lane, I carry them over the verge and point them in the direction of the ponds, which is probably only 50 metres away for them. Yeah. Sometimes you have a little bucket, you put them all in your bucket. If I see them hopping towards the verge to cross the road, I'll go and gather them up and take them and release them nearer to their destination.
Fiona isn't the only one helping this cause, but she is still looking for volunteers. If you would like to get involved, contact Toads on Road online. This is James Ewington reporting for LSJ News, Sleaford.
Now, there might be a 3D future for Lincoln's businesses. In the next hour, the University of Lincoln will open its technology hub to the public. It's giving local businesses the chance to use a 3D printer, colour scanners and a laser cutter. Gabriella Peralta finds out more.
To the untrained eye, these vases may look almost identical. What if I was to tell you one of these is a 3D printout? That's right, the vase on the left is a 3D copy of the original. The Technology Hub here at the Lincoln School of Art and Design will give businesses a chance to try out the equipment, and it has proved to be quite a hit.
It's full. We've got, I can't take any more tomorrow, so interest has been very good through limited marketing. We've marketed to our contacts and people that we know and companies that we would really like to get involved with.
3D printing is the process of making a solid object from a digital model. It takes a few hours to print, but the end product is basically different layers of liquid, powder, paper or sheet material.
3D printing is where you can take a model that you've created in a computer environment, a three-dimensional CAD model, or you've modelled it in some form of modelling package, and then you can send it to a printer that will look at it, slice it into lots of little layers, very fine layers, and then it will use various techniques to rebuild layer by layer a 3D replica of what you're trying to design.
The new hub was launched by On Lincolnshire and will offer access to 3D printers, a laser cutter and 3D colour scanners. It is the latest in a series of technology facilities here in the county. Guests can try out the new technology for free, and they will be trained in expert advice available on the day. Gabriella Peralta, LSJ News.
Gabriella joins us now to talk about this further. So, is this really going to change technology?
Well, 3D printing does sound quite futuristic, but the science itself is quite straightforward. It's just a step above 2D printing, which is basically putting toner on paper. But for 3D printing, it's basically you're putting liquid and powder in layers to create an object. Now, how it will really change technology is that with normal manufacturing, you need many different types of bolts, nuts, and to create the object. While if you have a 3D printer, you just create the object in one go, and all you need is one machine to create that one object.
So really what we're talking about here is the future of printing?
Yes. Yes, it was originally done in the 1980s, and that's how it started, but the technology really became commercially available in 2010. That's how it really started. And in 2012, they built a 3D working gun, which is how they really got to know that the technology was really working. And even though we might not find 3D printers in our houses just yet, we might find them creeping into our businesses to create 3D models.
Thank Gabriella. Well, after the dismal display of England's Test team in Australia, the hunt is now on for young cricket coaches. A scheme in Lincoln has been given a grant to encourage teenagers to play the sport. Anna Patterson has been to find out more.
Often leaving school marks the end of children's sporting days, but for one cricket club in Lincoln, this is not the case. Due to a £5,000 grant from the Access LN6 project, the club are training young adults skills they need for a career in cricket.
By involving the teenagers, with the dropout rate that there is in all sports when the youngsters get to 16, 17, this sort of, we hope, will keep them interested, get them more involved, if you like, in the background things that go on as a club, so that they feel part of the club.
The aim is to train 5 of these teens into sports coaches so they can pass their expertise on to future generations. The LN6 scheme provided the funding last month, and since then the young adults are enjoying their time here.
I'd like to become a coach because I like to interact and teach people younger, in the younger ages.
I like cricket because it's just like it's a good sport to keep active, and it's not like a wimp sport like football where you just fall over. You just keep on going.
The sessions are currently held at the Priory City Sports Hall on a Tuesday evening. Anna Patterson, LSJ News, Lincoln.
And now to the football. And after weeks of speculation, it's been revealed that Lincoln City's lone striker, Delano Sam York, has been recalled back to Cambridge. He scored 3 league goals for the Imps in his loan spell, and manager Gary Simpson says he'll be difficult to replace.
I think it's a big loss to everybody. It's a big loss for the lad because he's really, really enjoying it here. And, you know, he fitted into how we were, and it suited us, and it suited him, and he knew that as much as I did.
Well, after a 1-1 draw against Chester, the Imps are in a good position for their weekend's game against Aldershot. Goalkeeper Paul Farman is likely to be out for the season as his knee injury will require surgery. So Birmingham loanee Nick Townsend will stay till the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, being a keeper, there's only one spot, so you have to either wait for an injury or prove yourself to everyone. So obviously, having the injury, even though it's bad for the club and Paul, but it's a positive for me.
Despite the setbacks, however, Simpson remains confident in his squad.
Well, seeing that we've lost 2 in the last 10, I would say that we're not doing too badly at the minute. So I'm confident in the players that we've got. Yeah, do I think that I'm always looking to strengthen? That's my job. I've always got to try to find better than what we've got.
The game against Aldershot kicks off at 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon at the Recreation Ground.
And now we go to Helen, who has all the updates on our latest weather.
Well, the good news is we've seen all the rain we will today. There's just some few winds that we're going to have throughout the evening, but it's going to be dry and very bright. Over the weekend, we're not going to see any rain till the early hours of Sunday morning. So all through Saturday, it's just going to be slightly cloudy, but with highs of 9 degrees, it's going to be a fairly warm weekend. Sunday, however, is going to get cloudy. It is going to start raining again, and that rain will follow us into the beginning of next week. However, with any luck, the sun will come out again by the end of it, and we're going to have a nicer weekend next weekend. So fingers crossed for that, but at the minute, enjoy your Saturday and put all your washing out, because Sunday it's going to rain. Have a lovely weekend.
Well, that's all from us today. Thank you for watching.
For more on any of the stories featured on today's programme, please go to our website www.lsjnews.co.uk.
We'll be back next week for more news.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.